master and 2 remotes that's located elsewhere on property. A button station in the gym, and a photo cell up on the roof.
What does a button station do?
Turns lights on and off.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
Sorry.
That's involved on the programming side. Right now we'll have to look at the programming, and Carlos can possibly answer better what those particular buttons are turning off and on currently. From my understanding, what the system is programmed for right now is just temporary, not knowing what the final program is supposed to be or should be anyway.
Okay.
So we have 2 other boxes here, the DigiLink and PC to Ethernet. The DigiLink right now is currently not doing anything. It's a digital input card if you have relays with dry contact closures that need to turn things on and off, maybe part of a future installation or something. But right now, the facility is in place, just nothing is connected to it. The PC to Ethernet card allows you to connect through the Ethernet or through the internet with the Ethernet cord. This is not Ethernet. This is Cat5, but it's not Ethernet, so don't get confused by that. To run a custom program called Remote Clock, available from LC&D's website, lightingcontrols.com, in their download section. And what that does is once the IP address is put in and you make the connection, it simulates the look of this screen and allows you to be able to do remote programming or servicing, or overrides if you need to do an override. So, and since we don't have Ethernet pulled to this right now, and we don't have an IP address, nothing is, working with this right now. Quick, simple thing, emergency, quick on and off, even if you don't understand any of this, and you may not remember any of this is fine. All these panels have at least 2 forms of override. On this particular one, and I say that because the other boxes, they look different. They're actually blue, they're not gray, and the insides look a little bit different. But they all have blue buttons for the actual relays. Pressing these, I'm turning those relays on. If you happen to know what circuits they are. The other quick way is they all have this switch that says auto and hand. Right now it's on automatic mode. If I switch it over to hand, I just turn every load on. That's way number 2. Way number 3 is a little bit more involved. When you first wake up this menu by touching any button, you see the menu or the main display. Click enter to go to the menu. The first option is manual override, enter. This is where we need to know which lighting control panel we're dealing with. This is LCP1, there's LCP2 and 3. You select which relay panel you want to work with by moving the cursor to LCP1, selecting which panel you want to work with, tab over to the actual load, and when that load, the number is visible, hit enter, and now next to number 1, a white square just appeared. That square means that the relay is now turned on.
When the relay's turned on, does that mean that
That it's supplying power or whatever it's
right,
supposed
but
to be.
it's automatic?
No, you just manually turn it on.
Right, but the power just turns on automatically with whatever that relay is functioning with.
Yes. Like right now, if we went over to that relay panel, we'll see that circuit number 1 is on because I turned it on here. And these are the kind of things you could do with the remote clock software. If we want to turn it off, make sure we're at the right panel, the right load, hit enter again. Now the white square went away. We just turned that load off. So there's 3 ways to be able to manually override any of these panels. The quickest way, if emergency, just throw that over to hand. That way you don't have to try to remember panels, circuits, things like that. Whatever you're in, whatever menu option you're in, you can always just keep hitting exit. That'll always get you back to the main menu, or the main screen. When we're looking at the main screen, we're seeing a couple of things. The sunrise and sunset times that the system has programmed into it because it has an astronomical clock, and also the system time and date. If for any reason you see that a timed event is not operating properly, it may be over a period of days or weeks, it might be drifting, turning on later and later, or turning off earlier and earlier. Check the time to make sure that it's still accurate. And the quick way to be able to change that back if it is wrong, again, we'll hit enter to go into our menu, tab down to setup, select system setup menu, set date and time, enter, scroll to adjust, and then when you're done, make sure you highlight the word or the words hit enter, and then hit enter. If you don't do that, it won't take effect. Your changes won't take effect. You can do the same thing with the date also. For what we have here, the one button station is connected, well, all the equipment is connected through the Cat5 cable, which is why I said hold on earlier, because this is not Ethernet. You can't plug a computer into it. Matter of fact, if you plug a computer into any of these RJ45s, there's a chance you might ruin the port on your computer, your laptop, whatever. That would not be good. We have one button station on this. Carlos, you might want to describe the loads that are on those buttons. It's a 6-button station, on, off, on, off, on, off.
All one is out in the gym, the lighting for the gym.
Just the gym lights.
Use the gym lights. Yeah.
So that's,
There's 3 buttons, 6 buttons in total. One turn on and the other one turn off. By section, 1 section, 2 sections.
3 sections.
Yes.
we can change that or look at how that's set up if we'll go back out, hit enter, select program switch. In this particular situation, we see 3 switches, number 10, number 12, number 14. Number 10 is not used. That was factory programmed in, but that switch was not installed. It's still in here. Our photo cell is number 12, and 14 is switch number 5, and that's the button station. If we tab down, select that. Actually, it's 10, it's 14, it's not installed. So button 1, we'll highlight that, select enter. We see that load 1 on LCP3 is the load for that particular switch. We can change that just and assign it or erase it or delete it, just like we did when we were selecting manual overrides. Be able to select the right panel, the right load, hit enter. That number will either disappear or appear depending on if that circuit is associated with that switch. And we see the functionality of that button is set to on mode. You can select several options: on mode, off mode, toggle. Right now that particular button is just on, so when you press that button, that load turns on and stays on. If we set it to toggle, that button would just toggle the load every time you pressed it. The next button, we see that it's set to off mode. So you have switch 1 or button 1 is your on, button 2 is your off. And be mindful, there's a lot of information that we're trying to get real quick. There should be a manual that came with the panels. All of the information is downloadable from the website. Also, this order number is important. If you do have issues you want to talk to tech support about, call that number. Option 1 gets you through to tech support. Give them that order number. They'll know what you have on site. The other option for support is this particular device here is a modem. If you have just a regular analog phone line, which I was told that there's a possibility that one of these jacks down here might be an analog phone line, plug it in there, call support, give them the phone number for that. They can dial into this and make any changes, troubleshooting, anything like that. And there's no charge. So that's basically really quick how to manually turn on and off loads, see what's on. If we go back to manual override, we can see that circuit 1 is on already. So that's a quick way to be able to see what's on. The photocell is next. The photocell is on top of the roof facing the north, and we can look at the settings for the photocell by going to the switches, highlighting photocell, click enter, and we see our triggers. I think in this particular instance we're only using 1 trigger.
What's a photo cell for?
To be able to turn lights on and off depending on how dark it
Is it
is.
like a signal or something?
The sunlight?
It's a light sensor. When it gets to a certain level, it'll turn whatever is assigned to it, the group,
Turn
on or
on.
off.
That'll be the wall packs in the parking lot.
Yeah, the light bulb.
Okay.
Exit. So what I was informed that group 1 has all the loads that are supposed to be turned on and off with
Photos.
either photocell or astronomical time. We'll get to astro time in a minute. When the trigger, the first trigger is selected, group 1 is still highlighted. If we hit enter, we see a new screen here. This is where adjustments can be made to the light level that it's responding to. Right now we're seeing on a bright sunny afternoon, the sensor is displaying 1020. It's a generic number. It doesn't mean lux, foot candles, anything like that. It is just a number that the computer uses. We can tab down to this option, and this is the level that is the trigger for when something should turn on. Like it's dusk. It's starting to get dark. We want the parking lot lights to turn on. We can, on any particular day you want to use as a test day, you can look at the 5, 6 o'clock, see what the light level is, and put it in here. And then when it gets below, when that number falls below this one, that particular group, which we have group 1, all the exterior lights will turn on. Same thing for when we want it to turn back on. Maybe we want that to be a little bit higher, which we have here. So when the sun comes up to a certain level, all those lights turn off. The quicker option is to use astronomical time clock instead of a photocell. What we can do, there's nothing wrong when you're working with groups. It makes sure that you read the warning. So even if you press exit, it takes a while for it to get back. If we exit all the way back out, review our schedule. Schedule 1 has group 1 in it. Group 1 contains all of our exterior loads. Tab down to schedule 1, hit enter. Right now we see every day, on, none, off, none. We'll scroll down to on and set it to dusk. Tab down again, select dawn. So now what I told it was group 1, all the exterior lights, turn on at dusk, off at dawn. You don't have to keep track of time. It's doing everything here. If you want it to be an offset, like 30 minutes before dusk, you can select that and then tell it 30 minutes before dusk, turn on. Or vice versa. But for right now, we have the photocell going, so I'm going to set that back to none. And then we'll exit.
You have both running, like the photocell and the dusk option? Because if it's cloudy or maybe...
You can.
have both?
You can make another group with the same loads.
Okay, and it'll override what
That's
override.
that's what I would do.
Yeah.
A separate group. That way
Yeah.
you're not trying
It'll
to.
The
override.
same
yeah.
loads and,
Mm-hmm.
and one with the time and one with the photocell.
The groups, again, going through the main menu again, viewing the group loads, we see our groups here. We're only using 1 right now. Highlight that group, hit enter, and then we got this. We have the same selection screen for panel and load to be able to select all the loads within that group. So anytime we select group 1 as an option, we know we're dealing with those loads.
Is the only box available, or we have another box to control?
There's only
There's only one
There's
box.
just this. The other 2 are remote panels. They don't. This is called a DTC
Okay.
time clock. This is the only panel that has that. The only
But they'll
other
have the option of like the little blue buttons, right?
Yes, everything else
The same.
is there. It physically looks different, but you'll see the blue buttons,
Okay.
and on the lower left-hand side, you'll see the auto and hand switch, just like this one is.
Okay.
It's just in a different location. It is labeled.
And they're not labeled or anything like that? Like let's say the pavilion.
As far as
the
the
labels are on the door right there.
Oh, okay. Got
Number
it.
1 is hall lights. Number 3,
Okay.
I can see exterior lights. something like
exterior, CP1,
Co-
pole lights, and flag lights.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's
Yeah.
CP1?
that. It's a water pump right here. I don't know what
For
it is.
the
The print
irrigation?
shows in that panel. I don't know why.
What does that CP1 control again?
The water pump?
The water pump.
Oh, a water pump.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's right here.
Do we have a pond?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have a pond. We do, back there. The rain.
If anytime you're working with the menu, let's say, let's go back to our group loads. We can hit the help button and it'll give you a description.
Mm.
That's another way to get some help. Really, that's about it. You'll see other green buttons on this panel and the other panels. Those are not programmed to do anything. They don't do anything.
Then-
It's just the blue ones you're interested in.
Okay.